Hello, everyone out there on Facebook Live, or wherever it is you are. Welcome to the show. We're about to go live in another minute. 1 minute left, and we will go live. So, welcome. Thanks for watching. Good show, everyone. I'm ready if you're ready, I think. We're going to start at 1:02:30. 1:02:30. I have my piles, my stacks of stuff. Water. Hello, India. India's on. Bill's on. Everybody's on. It's freezing cold in my little makeshift studio here. All right, here we go. Thank you, India. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ralph Peterson radio show. This week, well, there is an awful lot going on in the world today, especially here in the United States. And let me tell you, let me start right off the bat. I am not talking about the election. I have no interest in talking about the election. I want to talk about something that is far more important today. I'm talking about business. As winter looms and the coronavirus cases continue to rise, many of us who own businesses are having to take a deep breath, and we're having to pause, and we're having to, pull out our number 2 pencil and get our team around the conference room table, or in my case, in many cases, we're gathering our team remotely around the Zoom calls, and we are all discussing virtually the same thing. What can we expect this winter? What is going to happen? What can happen? What are we going to do about it? What can we do? What should we do? And most importantly, it's not even about how do we win, which, by the way, has always been that. It's always anybody who is an entrepreneur, anybody who's in business, we want to do it for one big. There are a lot of reasons to be an entrepreneur. There's a lot of reasons to own your own business. But I'm going to tell you, one of the main driving forces, certainly in my world, is because I want to win. I love the game. I love business. I love making money. I love making people satisfied. I love providing a good service and making a good product. I love everything about that. And so it used to be fully consumed. I used to be fully consumed with how to win. And I got to tell you right this second, there's an awful lot of us who are just trying to figure out how not to lose. How do we stay relevant? How do we keep our doors open? This is right on. I literally just printed this 2 seconds ago. It's from this. This news article is from today, although this is not new. It's not news as of today. It's been going on for a while. If you're paying attention at all, you've been seeing this. There are a massive amount of malls all across the country that are right this second filing for bankruptcy. They are shutting their doors and they are filing for bankruptcy. They are going out of business. It's something, the reason that's so significant is because, I talked about it last week. We were talking about AMC. We were talking about the movie theaters. So many businesses rely on movie theaters. Times, in some cases, hundreds of businesses rely on malls. Everything from all the stores inside a mall to all the stores outside of the mall, to the gas stations, to the dry cleaners, to the everything the employee needs, the grocery stores, the convenience stores, the medical centers, the eyeglass places, malls going bankrupt is, there might be somebody going, well, I'm glad that they're going out of business, because they're, for a long time, malls have been decimating main streets all across the country. And I remember when there was a Walmart I grew up in Vermont, and there was a Walmart that was being built right up the street from our very pretty, very downtown, very, American picturesque Main Street. And the mall was putting every one of those businesses in jeopardy, and many of them did not survive. I remember there was a hardware store in Montpelier, Vermont that did not survive. Well, they didn't survive because there was another hardware store that moved in beside them, which was not helpful too. But I know that the mall and Walmart and these big box stores, they took away from all of these mom and pop operations. And at the time, there was this big collective movement from people wanting to shop and buy locally against those who wanted to see the malls and the big box stores move in. And I've always been a huge fan of both. I'm talking about a dichotomy of things. I am so interested in shopping and buying things from people who create it, and people who I am a sucker. I mean, I buy stuff I don't need, I don't want, I have nobody to buy for. If the person trying to sell it to me is somebody who made it themselves, somebody who's running their own business, I love that. I really love that. At the same time, I love Walmart. I love Target. My wife can't even be trusted in Target. I mean, we're huge big box fan stores as well. And so there is that dichotomy. And I just wonder, the only reason I'm even going into this, because I just wonder if, 20 years ago, there was this big push against, everybody's like, I can't believe you're destroying the downtown. And now all the box stores and the malls are closing due to the pandemic. And I wonder how many of those relics, those mom and pop stores are going, see, I told you we were better. Although they are, of course, not faring any better than a mall or a box store. As a matter of fact, you could probably say if the mall's going under, if the box stores are going under, I mean, it's probably pretty indicative that the mom and pop stores have even less of a chance of survival. And that is why today's show is so super important. It's why today's show is so relevant. It is because we are going to be talking about, we're going to spend the entire hour dissecting. I have a handful of stories here about what businesses are doing, how they're kind of reacting to the market right now, how they're reacting to the changes in their environment, what they're doing about it, and some of the key takeaways that we can take as business owners. I know that for me, we are my assistant India. I think I've driven her crazy for the last 10 months because every other week I'm like, well, let's try this, and then let's try that, and then let's try this. But that, I think, is the way that I know it's the way that I am. I'm constantly trying to figure out the best, smartest way to do something, and especially try to keep our doors open. But I think I'm not alone. I know that there are a lot of businesses that are doing the same thing. They're just kind of like, how do we roll up our sleeves and roll with these punches? And, there's something to be said about that too, with rolling with the punches and how companies need to learn how to change and adapt. I mean, I kind of heard that forever. Companies that don't change and adapt and roll with the punches are, the first to die and all that. I know that there are big companies out there. I used to work for a very large company that had a lot of trouble making pivoting very quickly because due to their size. I mean, they're such a big company. It's hard for them to just pivot quickly one direction or another. So I know that that's true, but the challenge with today's business environment, with today's business climate, with the coronavirus and the shutdowns and the government intervention and all this stuff is we don't normally, under a normal cycle, you would roll with punches. Somebody would come out with a new product or a new service or a new way of doing something, and you would have to try to catch up or try to innovate and be a step ahead. But you would have some type of lag time. You would roll with the punches, sure, but you would at some point stop rolling, right? You would sometime be able to just settle into the changes for a little bit and kind of get your bearing as a business. And it seems like, I mean, there's gyms come to mind. Like there's a gym in New Jersey that was struggling like crazy to open, and they were trying to do everything right. I mean, they were bringing gym equipment outside, and you can imagine thousands of pounds of weights they're moving outside, inside, just to try to maintain some ability to not lose their business. And I think that they finally did lose their business, even though they kept trying to roll with the punches because they never got to settle in, because nothing ever seemed to work for any length of time. They were not able to hold on to it at all. And that causes a little more chaos in this environment than any of us would want. So, but let me back up, let me retract, let me refocus, let me get back here and say good morning or good afternoon, wherever the heck it is you are and where you're listening to. I appreciate everybody for coming back every week at Tuesdays at 1:00 and either watching me live on Facebook or Twitter or on YouTube, or if you are listening in the IBGR Business Growth Radio, Profit Radio network, then thank you so much. So first, if you are interested, there are a few ways that you can be part of today's program. This show is brought to you by IBGR Radio, and we should start there. So if you go to ibgr.network, there is a flashing yellow question mark at the bottom right-hand corner of that screen. Click on that little icon and you can interact with me or any host on the IBGR network. You should know that IBGR network is streaming 24 hours a day. It is always getting great live content, and you can listen to current shows, you can listen to past shows, you can download past versions of the show. All you have to do is go to the ibgr.network, and top of the page in the middle, there's a thing called community. Just go to Community of Commerce section of the site, and you can find out all kinds of ways to not only download this show for past shows, but you can also listen to all the other shows and find out what it's like to become a member of the IBGR.network. It is fantastic, as you can imagine. Like I just said, we are live on Facebook, and we are live on Twitter and YouTube right this second. And you can ask questions right immediately on Facebook or Twitter, or just go ahead and plug in there. If I see them, I will read them and I will answer your questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening. Additionally, just so you know, I kind of started the show like this, and let me just keep starting to let me go back to it. And that is IBGR, this radio program, and all radio programs on the IBGR network are run by business owners for business owners. That's right. We are a business talk radio program for business owners by business owners. And we're broadcasting in more than 150 countries right now, which is super crazy and super fun. And one of the big things about being on the IBGR network is that we are talking about the same things in our personal business lives as we are here on the radio show. So the things that we talk about in our own professional lives while we're not on the air, we're talking about here. So we are sharing real-time things that we are going through in business to help you with your business, and maybe even figure out how to do my own business. So we will be right back. Shoot. One of us is late. That was, all right. Well, that got away from me. And Kathy, all right, Rich's department. It's the same thing. Why are you arguing with me? It was the mall. I meant the mall. I brought up Walmart, but I said I was talking about the mall, not Rich's department store. Wasn't it the mall with Rich's department store? It wasn't just Rich's. It was the mall with Rich's in there. Which, by the way, can we agree that's a dumb name for a store? Rich's? Yeah, doesn't matter. For those who don't care about the Vermont Walmart or mall that went up there and caused them any chaos, and it does not matter. Here we go. Okay, I missed that timing. I got to get a little better on my timing. 1:17. 1:16:30. Yeah. 14:30. All right, 17:30 it is. Oh, 14. All right. Heading back in. 15 seconds. And we're back. Welcome to the Ralph Peterson Radio Show. Appreciate everyone coming back. If you would like to be part of the show, you can go to ibgr.network, and there is a flashing question mark in the bottom right-hand corner. You can click on that question mark and engage with me or any host here on the IBGR network. Also, I am live on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. If you're curious as to what it is I look like today, I'm in a suit. I took the suit jacket off, so I'm in a shirt and tie. I'm looking very dapper, dare I say. Had a big meeting today, hopefully going to turn into what we call more business, which is, of course, the whole goal of everything. As you know, if you are a regular listener to this show, then once again, you know that we're talking all about business operations. I do own and operate a management services company, and the topics and ideas that we discuss on this show are the same topics and ideas that we discuss, my team and I discuss on a daily basis. And that is, of course, how do we get better? How do we focus on systems, oversight, and outcomes? How do we continue to not lose? Additionally, I would not be very smart if I did not also mention that my fourth book is out. The Good Manager Being Great is Overrated is now available, and we've had a great launch week, and we're still very excited about everything that's coming through. I've gotten quite a lot of fantastic reviews and feedback from some great friends who have picked up the book and read the book. And one of the best compliments to get about the book that I have gotten is how quick and easy it is to read. And I think that is a testament to how I want to read every book. I don't want to struggle with a book. I don't like having to read with a dictionary. I don't want to have to spend 8 years on trying to consume a chapter. I love that when I find a book that is easy to digest, makes sense, has great points, and has takeaways that I can use in business in my professional life, I find that to be a fantastic book. And I guarantee that you will find that with my fourth book, The Good Manager Being Great is Overrated. On a side note, you're not going to believe this, but I have also just recently started working on publishing a children's book. What do you think about that, kids? A children's book. That's right. That'll be out pretty soon. It will not be about management, which maybe it should be. Maybe I should write a children's book about how to be a good manager when you're 5 or 6 or 7. That's when you should start being into business. When you're 5 or 6 or 7, there were some kids down the street here, and instead of a lemonade stand, which would be fun and recognizable, no. These two boys were offering, brace yourself for this, they were offering to dance for $1. I was like, I don't know what is going on with that household and those parents, but dancing for dollars on the lawn. These two young little boys are trying to get their groove on and make a couple of dollars. One kid said for $18, he'd give me 18 dances. And I thought, I wouldn't even know 18 dances. I said, you sure you know 18 dances? And he assured me he did with a nod of his head. But I did not have $18. I didn't have a single dollar. So we did not see him dance at all. We saw a couple of cartwheels, which were nice, but all right. Well, it made me laugh. That's fun. And you listen, the sooner you start business, the better. My first My first business the first thing job I ever had was delivering newspapers with my sister. And then I started selling baseball cards, and I was terrible at selling baseball cards because I was a far bigger collector than I was a seller. I did not like to sell my good cards, and nobody, of course, wanted to buy my crappy cards. And so my business was do very well, not very good. We're talking about organizational strengths and challenges this week, and that is, how do you identify them? This is the biggest question. I'm talking, if you want to just try to figure out everything, you want to see where you're at with your business, this is the question you need to be asking yourself. Why do people choose you? Why did somebody sign a contract with you? And why do they sign it with other people? Why not you? Why you and why not you? There are stores that people love to go to, and there are stores that people hate to go to. There are stores where people will wait outside in the freezing cold. They'll be in line forever to get in. And then there are other stores, the doors could be wide open with all kinds of marked down 70, 80% off of everything, and still no one goes into that store. Why? What are your strengths and what are your challenges? And the reason, of course, that any business should be inquiring as to what their strengths and challenges are is to do one thing, and that is to capitalize on your strengths and try your best to overcome your weaknesses. That's the whole part. That's the whole mission behind looking at your strengths and challenges, is to capitalize on your strengths, do more of what makes you good, and overcome your challenges. How to capitalize on your challenges. And I've got a couple of interesting examples here. First, let's start with IHOP. IHOP, as you know, the International House of Pancakes. They have been around for a very long time, and they've been struggling this year like everybody else has. IHOP is a very low margin restaurant. In other words, they do not make a lot of money on each plate of food. They make a lot of money on how many plates of food they can produce. So they're a burner and churner. They're just going right through, trying to get people in and out of the restaurant as fast as possible. Their pancakes and eggs, and all, these things take minutes to cook, minutes to consume. The faster they can get you to get food in front of you, the faster they can get you out the door, the faster they can get someone else in that seat. That is the goal of a restaurant like IHOP. So now you get the pandemic coming on, and all of a sudden, nobody's showing up at IHOP. Or if they are, they're having to do a really reduced version of a reduced seating amount. So what is IHOP's biggest strength? And so if you worked for IHOP and you were in their corporate office, they all got around a big table and they said, what is so great about IHOP? Why? What are we known for? And then after we decide what it is we are known for and what we're really good at, how can we take what we're good at and capitalize on it? And so there's a big story out today with IHOP releases a home pancake decorating kit for the holiday season. Think about that. IHOP has made a home pancake decorating kit for the holiday season. What IHOP has recognized, being the International House of Pancakes, is one of their biggest strengths is, of course, what they are known for the most is, of course, their pancakes. And not just the pancake. A pancake could essentially be a pancake. No. If you've ever been to an IHOP, you know the table is full of all kinds of syrups, all kinds of little accoutrements for the pancake. They don't just have regular pancakes. They have pancakes with fruits, pancakes with nuts, pancakes with chocolate, pancakes with coconut, pancakes with everything under the sun, with peanut butter, with Nutella, with jelly, all this stuff. And they have all these specialty syrups. And so IHOP, now, are we going to think for 1 second that pancake decorating kits are going to make up for IHOP's staff or challenges with the coronavirus and being shut down and having to do reduced seating? The answer is, of course not. But this is an easy way to do a bunch of things. Number one, they're keeping busy. They're still producing a product. They're still thinking outside of the box. They're still getting product in front of people. Also, they're also this is a great marketing play as well. I mean, you got to imagine everybody's still now knowing what IHOP is. And if I have an IHOP thing at home and I see an IHOP and I love the syrups that they got at home, or I love the decorating kit for the holiday season that I got at home, IHOP can capitalize on that. It is a great idea. I don't know if it's going to be long-term sustainable. I don't think it's going to make up for all the shortfalls in their business, but it's these kind of ideas. It's this kind of rolling with the punches that I think is what's going to make companies like IHOP succeed. The Bagel Boss, I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. There's a restaurant or a bagel shop here in New York City called the Bagel Boss, and they're everywhere, all over Long Island. I see them all over the place. Really, really great bagels, very well known for their bagels, for their New York style bagels. And they have decided to, because again, with the coronavirus and everything, as a matter of fact, I'm going to say that what they started to do is that they started to do shipping, like national shipping. They'll ship bagels anywhere, anytime now. And the reason why that's significant is because bagels are generally made first thing in the morning, just in case you don't know. Bagels are made first thing in the morning, and when they're gone that day, they're gone that day. And they don't make another batch until tomorrow morning. And so if you're a big bagel fan, if you live here on Long Island or New York City or somewhere where bagels are pretty prevalent, you know that you got to get there in the morning, because that's when the best choices are there, because they make them only one time a day. Now, because of the coronavirus and because of the limited amount of bagels that are being sold due to the coronavirus, they have ramped up both production of bagels and they've started shipping them out nationally, which is a fantastic way to roll with the punches. I think it's a smart move. There was a couple of kids. I love college kids. I got to tell you, college kids that have a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit. There's nothing that can stop them. I mean, nothing. It's so fantastic. And there were a couple of young college students in my neighborhood or in the surrounding neighborhoods that I heard about. And they, right at the beginning of the shutdown, they had decided to start offering a bagel service where you could literally order bagels for your household, essentially, and they'd go get them for you. So they were delivering, they'd go to the Bagel Boss or some other bagel shop. They'd go there, grab your bagel order, and just bring it to you. So it's almost like a food delivery, but it's only for bagels. I think it's pretty smart. Anyway, I have a lot more to talk about, a lot more businesses that we're going to talk about, talking about strategic strengths and their challenges and how some businesses have overcome them, in the hopes that we can find ways that you and I can overcome our own strengths and challenges during this time, because it is so super important. So stay with us. We're going to be right back on the other side. Couple of minutes. I think it's like a 2-minute break. It's a short break, and it's worth it. So come back. We'll be right here. I was going to type to you, India. Just type to me. Is everything going okay, you think? You can hear me fine? Everything's going well? 217, 229, 129 and a half is, yeah. I think I can go in a little early, actually. Okay, thank you, India. I know India is telling me how I did a lot better with my break this time. Thank you. I'm new, and I'm forgetting to stop for my breaks. So I'm watching the clock. I don't want to stop talking, but I have to. Somebody's going to pay the bills. Too funny. 32. Going to go in a little earlier this time. We'll see what happens. Although if I do, it's going to mess me up. So I don't want to do the math in my head. I'm not going in. I'm not going in early. That's it. All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ralph Peterson radio program brought to you by IBGR. Go to ibgr.network, and you can learn all about all of the programming that goes on at IBGR. I'm telling you, if you own a business, if you're in business, this is the radio station for you. You just got to find it one time, bookmark it, and never go anywhere else. This is definitely the place you need to be, especially if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're trying to figure out ways to get better. Every day there's a new focus to the radio program. Some days it's on marketing, sometimes it's on sales, sometimes it's on finances, sometimes it's on leadership, on human resources, and other days like today, Tuesdays, it's all about operations. So if you are interested in one of those topics, you can go to ibgr.network and you can find the schedule on what we're talking about on each day, because each day is a different subject matter throughout the entire day. The whole radio program today on Tuesdays is all about operations. Another day, it's all about finance. Another day, it's all about marketing. So we make it easy for you to choose the day, the time that you need to be listening. And honestly, the best thing for you to do is to, of course, pick and choose one time a day to listen every day so that you get all of it. So you can listen to a little bit of finance, you can learn a little bit about marketing, a little bit about sales, a little bit about HR, and of course, you can learn about a little bit about operations. And so every day is a new day for a different subject for the business radio program here at IBGR, and it is the best place to be. So welcome once again. Brought to you by IBGR. If you go to ibgr.network, you can go to the community and the community of commerce, and you can find out how to get all the back episodes, the back shows, the podcast, become a member. There's all kinds of things you can do there. We're talking all about how to assess what your strengths are and what your challenges are. If you know from last week's show, if you were listening last week, we were talking about how to develop your strategy. And developing a strategy in business is one of the most important things you can do. Is you got to figure out where you are and then figure out where you want to go. And then you got to figure out how to bridge that gap. So where you are and where you want to go. And when you're talking about and you're trying to figure out where you are, one of the big questions you should be asking yourself is what makes you special? What makes you unique? Why do people do business with you? And I'll tell you, for me, the number one reason why people hire me is because of my knowledge and my subject matter. That's it. It doesn't have anything. I'm an expert in my subject matter. They don't hire me because of my staffing ability. They don't hire me because of my marketing ability. They don't hire me because of my financial prowess. They don't hire me because I know how to make something really good. They hire me because I am really, really good at management and operational effectiveness and breaking down job routines and cutting through the fat and eliminating waste. And that's my expertise. And I know that. So it would be silly for me to try to be something that I'm not and try to focus on something that I know little to nothing about. It's much better for me to instead to be focused on what it is I do really well and trying to get more clients that want to work with me to do more of what it is I already do well. what are my challenges? I'll tell you what my challenges are. I am competing with companies that offer the same services I do, except they offer it more. And let me be completely transparent on what I'm talking about. I am a business consultant, which means I run departments in long-term care. I will come in and I will help you streamline your dietary department, for instance, or your housekeeping department or your maintenance department. And I will help you streamline it. I will help you write job routines. I'll help you write inspection forms. I will help you write policies and processes and procedure manuals for the whole thing, how to run the entire thing. I have competitors who will do the same thing I will do. And they also have buying power, which means they'll get you better pricing on supplies. They'll get you better pricing on food. They'll get you better pricing on staffing. They have whole staffing houses with them where they bring in staff. I don't offer any of that. And so I have to, as a business owner, I have to go, okay, my strength is my knowledge. My strength is my expertise in streamlining these job routines. It is in creating these policies and procedures. It is knowing my industry backward and forward. That's my expertise. That's my strength. My challenge is I don't own anything. I don't own staffing. I don't pay the staff. I don't pay the managers. I don't buy supplies. And the reason that's a challenge of mine is because there are other companies that do what I do, plus they offer those other buying power opportunities for the same company, the same client I'm after. So what I have to do is two things. I have to figure out, A, how to capitalize on my strength, and I have to figure out how to overcome my challenges. And so what I do as for my business is here's a dirty little secret I'll tell you right now. Here's a dirty little secret. In business, especially in service businesses, the biggest cost is labor. The biggest cost is labor. And if you outsource your labor, then if there's any shortages in labor, just because people call out, people get sick, people have car problems, there's snow, you know, the coronavirus, you name it. Whoever pays the labor gets the benefit of not having to pay the labor. Does that make sense? I mean, that's basically how it goes. And so if I'm competing with somebody who offers labor, I will often point that out to my potential client. I'll be, listen, here's the difference between me and them. If we're short-staffed, if we're having a problem with staffing and you work with me, you get the same service you're getting now, except you get the benefit of being short-staffed. In other words, you don't have to make those payroll. If you use the other person and it's their payroll and we're short-staffed, they make more money by being short. Not you, they make more money. And so you see, all I'm doing is I'm showing the difference. I'm literally capitalizing on my own strengths and challenges. I'm identifying what makes me good and also identifying why they choose others. The reason they choose others is because of the staffing, because of the buying power. Why they choose me is because of the expertise. Not that they don't have expertise. We have equal expertise, but they also have this other thing. So I have to overcome that. And I overcome it in a lot of variety of ways, to include showing them how they can capitalize, make more money by utilizing someone like me as opposed to utilizing someone like them. It's just simply trying to figure out how to roll with the punches. And I have a great story out, and I don't know if I'm gonna have time to get into it completely this time. If not this time, the next segment I'll get further into it. We'll see how we go. But home fitness, listen to this, home fitness may outlast coronavirus pandemic as digital offerings keep customers engaged. This is kind of like a reverse problem for the gym industry right now. So gyms are having a big problem with the coronavirus, with the pandemic, with the shutdowns, with the government interventions. They're having a big challenge all over the place with how to keep their doors open. And while they're trying to figure out how to keep their doors open, guess what other company is coming in? This other company with these video on demand home workout videos and on demand videos. These home workout companies they've been doing this home. I'll tell you what, there's I did this bodybuilding challenge years ago called Body for Life by a guy named Bill Phillips. And it was the first time I had ever done a bodybuilding, anything like working out. Bodybuilding is such a terrible, if you go to Facebook or see me live, you'll see that. I mean, bodybuilding is not the way you should be describing me. I am the opposite of a bodybuilder. I do not have the body for a bodybuilder, but that's what it's called. Bodybuilding challenge. It's a workout challenge. Doesn't matter. They had these small 30-second videos when I was doing the challenge where they just kind of showed you how to do the workout. Because I didn't know. I don't know how to use a machine and lift weights properly and all that. So imagine just these tiny little animated 30-second clips. And that was the extent of it. Now, my wife and I are doing Beachbody, which they're not a sponsor of the show. They should be, because I love them. I just love Beachbody. Beachbody On Demand. I just love it. Now, companies like Beachbody are taking over the market. They are literally taking the customer who always went to the gym, who loved the gym, who didn't want to do anything but be at the gym. They're taking those customers and they are turning them into hardcore workout at home people. At home fitness. This is the headline. At home fitness may outlast the coronavirus pandemic. Meaning, even if the gyms were to open tomorrow, even if people, the government, the state, the city, whatever, said, hey, we're going to start opening gyms up, people are so engaged. People are so turned on. People are so into these at-home workout routines. I mean, we built an entire gym in our basement. I mean, let's not get crazy. We didn't build a gym. We emptied a room. Built a gym. We emptied a room, but we got some of those fun, thick foam mats, and we put them on the floor. All right, that's we call building a gym. We didn't add walls or nothing. But we emptied a room. We hung a TV on the wall, and we put that the foam matting on the floor for like $80, and we love it. I cannot imagine ever paying the money, and this is the problem with gyms. This is what they're going to have to overcome. I would not imagine paying the money to go to a gym. So now, be a gym owner. That's now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas here. Now be a gym owner. Now you're a gym owner, and you're allowed to open your doors. And guess what? People aren't coming. What are you going to do about it? What can you do? We get back. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about all the options, or some of the options as I see it. I tell you some of the things I would start trying to figure out how to do or what to do, to include, I mean, there are big ones like there's Lifetime Fitness, there's Planet Fitness. There's like these big chains. I want to tell you what I would do, big chain. I would get on the video bandwagon and I would start making my own. We'll be right back. I stuttered there. Right back. I know. You're not going to believe this, India, but we just got an inquiry about the Quality Awards. Can you believe that? I didn't think anybody was going for the Quality Awards this year. But we will look into it. Show going well. How much time do we have? What time is it? Oh my God, we're still last segment. Son of a gun. So much I want to talk about. Crapola. All right. Last segment. Unbelievable. Uh, 147. Let me ask Mr. Bill if we are okay. See what he has to say. Wow, Mr. Bill is being very complimentary. That's nice. Here we go. Five seconds. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the final segment of the Ralph Peterson Radio Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is the fastest 60 minutes of my entire week, and so I imagine it's just as fast for you. So hopefully one day we're going to get, maybe we'll get 2 hours. Maybe we'll push the envelope, try to get 3. We can do this all day. I love it. So what we were talking about before we left for the break, we were talking about gyms and gym membership and what's going to happen after the pandemic and they start to open up and everything. And I'm going to tell you, as a related story, an unrelated story, but I'm going to relate them. I'm going to make them relatable. Is there's this new company. It's called Jinx. Jinx. Here we go. It's Jinx Samir Mata. Jinx Samir Mata. Jinx is a dog food company. And here's the thing about this company. This is a dog food company. Notice I did not say it is a pet food company. Because Jinx is not, this is so crazy. Jinx is not a pet food company. It is a dog food company. Now, the reason that is significant is because there aren't any other companies that only specifically do one animal, provide food or care or supplements or toys or anything for one animal. Most companies, all other companies, at least that I know of, provide pet food, not dog food, pet food. That means across the board, every pet, they provide food for fish, they provide food for dogs, for cats, for reptiles, you name it, they provide food for it. This company has decided, they're like, you know what? We're not going to do that. Everybody's trying to be everything to everyone when it comes to pet food, and they just want to focus on one animal. They're dog lovers, and so they only want to make good and nutritious food for dogs and only dogs. And I thought that was it's quite amazing. It's a nice, I had to do a little research. I was wondering, I was like, hey, let me ask you this. What's the number one pet in the United States? Matter of fact, it's the same number one pet in the world, and it is dogs. 48 million. I couldn't believe that number either. There's 48 million dogs in the United States. 48 million. As a matter of fact, in the world, 33% of all animals that are kept as pets are dogs in the world. 48 million in the United States. There's 31 million cats. I'll tell you what, in my neighborhood, that's probably a pretty close ratio. Everybody in my neighborhood has a dog. Most people have 2 dogs. And then we have one lady down the street who has, 15 cats. And so I think that's kind of like the same ratio, where the dog to cat ratio. If you are interested at all, the number 3 pet in the United States is fish. Fish. There's over 1 million fish as pets. I don't know why that makes me laugh. I think it's hilarious. Reptiles is number 4, coming in around 400,000. Now, how is this relating to gyms? I'll tell you how this is relating to gyms. What this company, Jinx, has decided to do is they decided to take this big industry, pet food, and just get really laser focused on one animal, and that is dogs. And I think for gyms, what they're going to have to do if they want to survive, they're going to have to start specializing. There are MMA gyms. There are boxing gyms. There are gyms just for women. And then there are the general fitness gyms. And I think it's the general fitness gym that is in the most trouble. They're the ones who are going to be competing the most with these online at-home fitness gyms or these fitness programs. These online fitness programs, you don't need a lot of equipment. You don't need a lot of, there's not a lot of setup. You don't need a lot of room. When most people do these programs in their living room, in their kitchen, they're using kitchen chairs as the gym equipment, where you don't need a lot of weights, you don't need a lot of heavy weights. And so I think if these gyms, when they do get to open, I think they have to do one thing, or one or two things. I think either specialize, become like a specialty. Like I think there must be a gym, and it's probably like a Gold's Gym. I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with it, although I think Gold's, or there's a Victory Gym in California that is run by Jocko Willink. And I should bring him up just because he's my biggest hero. By the way, I don't even know why I didn't even start the show like this, because I should have. Let me spend a couple of random minutes just saying happy birthday to all my fellow jarheads all across the fruited plain. It is the Marine Corps birthday today. And if you are a Marine or know a Marine, you know the Marines, we tend to celebrate this birthday as our own, because you don't join the Marines, you become a Marine. And when you become a Marine, you celebrate the Marine Corps birthday as it is your own. But I want to say this as well, because as great and as fantastic, and as much as I absolutely love being a Marine and adore Marines and support Marines, there's another group of people that really do deserve a big praise, and that is everybody who supports Marines. And we would not be anywhere without, when I first was thinking about this morning, I have a friend of mine named Seth. He's a really good guy. He was a corpsman when I was in the Marine Corps. I met him in the Marine Corps. He was in the Navy. He was a Navy corpsman. And if you know what Navy corpsmen are, how valuable and important they are to the Marine Corps, they literally, and I'm not hyperbolating at all, they literally keep Marines alive. And so corpsmen are, talk about an important and a valuable member of the Marine Corps. Every corpsman in the United States Navy should be an honorary Marine. That they should just all be an honorary Marine. The sacrifices that they go through, the lengths that they go through to care for Marines is beyond comparison. And so they deserve a lot of love. But then, as I followed down that trajectory, my mom could not have been more supportive, as all military moms support. And then, the girlfriends and the boyfriends and the wives and the husbands and the kids and the aunts and the uncles and the cousins and the neighbors and the school friends and the best friends and the people you've fallen out with and the store clerks. And, you walk around with a Marine Corps hat on if you're in uniform, or if there's some kind of an insignia, somebody sees that you have any kind of military service on. Everybody is so very thankful and complimentary. And to all of you, happy birthday. And thank you for making it possible for those of us who have enjoyed wearing the uniform, made it possible for us to have that enjoyment. Because I got to tell you, being a Marine is like being in Boy Scouts with guns. It is a lot of fun. It can be a lot of fun. It can be a lot of hectic, a lot of waiting around. Listen, in the Marine Corps, there's a saying called "enjoy the suck," and they don't say that because it's fun to say. It's because the Marine Corps can suck, and it can suck pretty bad. But all that being equal, I would not want to be anything other than a U.S. Marine, especially today on November 10th, our collective birthday. And so happy birthday to all those jarheads and devil dogs out there. And of course, thank you to everyone who has stopped me and supported me and been part of enabling me to be a Marine. It's been the time of my life when I was doing it. All right, so back to today's news, back to the gyms. I don't know where what it brought me onto that was Jocko Willink, my favorite war hero, at least my favorite alive war hero, although there are an awful lot of war heroes that are just I can't even tell you how fantastic everybody is. As a closing, we only have another 4 or 5 minutes here as a closing. Yes, Bill, I want 2 hours. As a closing, Bill's asking if I want 2 hours. Listen, the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. This should be a 2-hour show at a minimum, at least a 2-hour show. Would do a 2-hour show in a heartbeat. Matter of fact, can we start right now? I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna stop. We'll just take another break and just roll on with it. No. When we're talking about business, we're talking about trying to figure out what our strengths and what our challenges are and how we can roll with it, and the importance of trying to figure out what makes us different and what we can capitalize on. Let me do full confession here. I'm no good when it comes to Chinese food. I eat too much of it. I want it every time I see it. I don't know what it is they put in the rice, but I cannot get enough of it. I love Chinese food, and P.F. Chang's is no different to me. And so, as you can probably remember, come January, February, March, April this year, there was a huge disparity between shifting blames. And I mean, people stopped drinking Corona beer. I mean, we all just get a little crazy. All right. I mean, and I'm not saying other people are crazy. I'm just as crazy. I'm just as guilty as being unreasonable. I am a tribalist. I'll be the first to admit it. I listen to one beat of a drum and I follow right along. So I'm not degrading anybody. However, all I'm saying is this. P.F. Chang's is a Chinese restaurant and a Chinese chain, and they do a really good job. Their food is really great, but they, of course, are suffering, having the same challenges everybody else is. And so P.F. Chang's has decided it is now doing to-go locations. So there are a lot of to-go locations of Chinese food in every neighborhood, which makes Chinese food super accessible and wonderful and delicious and yummy, and you get to go bring it home. And I'm going to probably have it for dinner because I've been talking about it too much today. P.F. Chang's is now doing it. And I am super excited that P.F. Chang's sitting at the table and going, you know what we need to do? We need to start having curbside to-go Chinese food, P.F. Chang style. And I say bravo to P.F. Chang's. That's it for me. I hope you had a great time on today's show. I hope you learned a lot. I hope that you do start assessing your strengths and your weaknesses and try to figure out how to overcome them. Capitalize on what makes you strong. Capitalize on why people come to you. If you don't know why people are coming to you, here's the best thing you can do. You ready? Ask. Hey, why did you choose us? We love having you as a customer. We want to keep having you as a customer. How do we keep you engaged? How do we keep having you here? How do we keep making you happy? You start asking open and honest questions like this to your customer base. You know what they're going to do? They're going to tell you. And that's how you begin to win, or at least not lose. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. That's it for me. Thank you. That's it. I guess I'm logging off. If you'd like to replay, watch this again, do it in triplicate. Maybe next week we'll have 2 hours. I don't know. I'm going to talk to the program director now, see if we can make that happen, because I think it's a thing we should make happen. See you guys later.